Okay, I'm coming in, of course, everyone knows that I'm here, of course, that is what you can see, that everyone is after me, of course, that is what you can see, that I'm in the court movies and things like those, of course, that is what you can see, that the mom from my kids is the bitch from the court, of course, they wanna make her the lover from the king or from the prince, I don't know. Of course, that is what you can see, that they want to make the mother from my two kids, the lover from the court, of course, and I don't know, of course, what can I do against that? Just nothing. Just let them, of course, that is what you can see, that is what you can have here, of course, I don't wanna be there, I don't want to know anything about them, of course, that is what you can see, that they are the whole time trying to put me in, but I don't wanna be there, of course, that is what you can see, that they are here making some movies around me, of course, that is what you can see, they want to make my mother, the mother for my two kids, the bitch, the lover from the court, of course, but I don't know, of course, I'm not there, of course, that is what you can see, that I don't have time for that, of course, that is what you can see, that you can say, that you are with the children and that you protect the children, the kids and the kin and the face and the feeling and things like those, of course, but even if that is like that, it's something where you're there and you know that, of course, darling. Of course, darling, you can say you protect the kids and the feels and the kin and the feeling and things like those, of course, darling, and the children and things like those, but it's keep something weird, darling, that is what you can see, but okay, I don't wanna be there, I can say that I loved you before this whole damn court thing, of course, I loved you when we were there, but then they took you and put you there to be the lover from the court, of course, and I don't know, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that you have my $100. Just keep that, of course, and protect that, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that I shouldn't speak, but I'm gonna speak, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that I have my thing there since long, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that I'm the Messiah from the Grand 12, of course, that is what you can see, I'm the guy in the white shirt I'm the guy in the white shirt with the silver gun, of course, and I jumped, of course, but I have my papers there, that is what you can see, that your friends from the court are playing hunting elephants and things like those, of course, they are just crazy, that is what you can see. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, and their movies are the whole time like that, hunting elephants and things like those, of course, they even want to make a Birdman reincarnating during the towers, of course, darling, they are crazy, but I'm gonna shoot with my red eyes, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that they are not gonna have you, of course, darling, I'm not gonna let them reincarnate in you, of course, darling, and speaking about the towers, of course, that is what you can see, they throw their towers, playing bowling with the niggas from the East Coast, of course, to start a war and get the oil, and then put everyone against the Jews and put a cross middle in Israel and things like those, of course, but no one wants a cross, we are all hungry, darling. Why do we want a cross? We don't want a cross, we are hungry, everyone is hungry, everyone wants to eat and not looking at the cross, of course, darling, that is what you can say. Of course, darling, they all want Catholic freedom. The freedom of the enterprise is to slave the workers, of course. And they are shooting for that, and they are shooting to put a cross in Israel, of course, darling, that is what they want. Of course, darling, they wanna put a cross in Israel, but no one wanna cross in Israel because everyone is hungry, of course, darling, that is what you can see, that we are all hungry. Of course, darling, we want a peace and a truce and play Catan and smoke some joints and fuck some bitches. Of course, darling, that is what everyone wants. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that we want a peace and a truce and we are hungry. Of course, darling, and we are not gonna shoot anymore. Of course, darling, we have enough from shooting and more shooting to put a cross in Israel and that everyone is hungry. Of course, an inquisition and witches haunting and witches burning and things like those the whole time. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that we are not gonna shoot anymore. For Catholic freedom, the freedom of the enterprise is to slave the workers, and we are not gonna shoot anymore to put a cross in Israel because everyone is hungry and everyone wants to eat, darling. That is what you can see. And we want the truth and we want peace and we want to play Catan and smoke some joints and fuck some bitches. Of course, darling, that is what we want. Of course, darling, and that is what we are gonna have. And if you want to work for Catholic freedom and be the bitch lover from the court, that's your problem. But everyone knows that my $100 are yours and that your $100 are from me. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that no one can against me. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that no one can against me. Of course, darling, and the niggas from the East Coast with legs through the towers and played bowling. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that is what they want. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. And they send troops to get the sources and then expel the Jews from Israel. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that they want to put the cross and we are all hungry. Of course, darling, we are not gonna shoot anymore for them. We are not gonna shoot anymore for Catholic freedom. Of course, darling, we want a peace and a truce and play Catan and smoke some joints and fuck some bitches. Of course, darling, that is what we want. We want that truce. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that they are the whole time with legs there. Of course, that is what you can see, that is what you can have here, that I have my money. Of course, darling, and everyone knows it. Of course, darling, you can see that I have what I want. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. In my eyes, you can see my truth. In my eyes, you can see my jokes. In my eyes, you can see your kid. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that no one can against me. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that no one can against me, and that we are gonna go. Of course, that we want peace, we want truth. Of course, that is what you can see, that we are gonna not shoot anymore for Catholic freedom. Of course, that is what you can see, that we want to play Catan and smoke some joints and fuck some bitches, and we want to eat and we want to have a peace and a truce. Of course, darling, we want the truth tea, that is what you can see. Of course, darling, that we can shoot the whole armies off if we want, of course, and we want our truth tea, we want our system, we want our peace, we want to play Catan and smoke some joints and fuck some bitches. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that is what we want, and if they want to shoot us, they are gonna come. Of course, darling, that is what you can see, that I want my peace. Of course, darling, that we are the whole time killing to have the sources. Of course, we are the whole time killing to invade the states. Of course, and we don't want that, and we had enough, and we are the whole time killing to put a cross in Israel, but we are we're all hungry, darling. We don't want crosses, we are hungry. Of course, darling, we want to eat. That is what you can see. And we had enough, of course, darling. And you prefer to be the bitch from the court. You prefer to be the lover from the court. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That you can protect the children, you can protect the fields, you can protect the kingdom, you can protect the filly and the children, of course, darling. But everything's gonna go wrong. But I want to protect you, of course, darling. That is what you can see. That is what you can have here. That I don't wanna hurt you, darling. That is what you can see. And in this mat you want to bring Michael reborn or something like that. Of course, darling, you're crazy. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That we're gonna shoot and we want our peace, we want our ring. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That of course, darling, we wanna shoot like the army's elephant and we want our devil ring. Of course, we want to be the system. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That I want little demons. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That I want my fallen angels. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. I wanna go to the top of the mountain with my many kids. I got dog and they try to shoot me off, of course, and shake my ass. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That they are the whole time trying to put us against each other. Of course, darling, but we want the system. Of course, darling, we want to break it down, smoke some joints and fuck some bitches and have fun. Of course, darling, and not kill each other for nothing, just to end up the states, to have the freedom to slave the workers, to put a cross in Israel and that everyone is hungry, and inquisitions and witches hunting and witches burning and things like those. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That we are all hungry and that we all want to eat. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. And they are trying to let us without meat. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That we want our ring, of course, darling, that is what you can see. And that if they want to keep shooting us, that they go over our dead bodies. Of course, darling, that if they want to keep shooting, that they go over our dead bodies. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That I'm gonna shoot them until the only peace possible becomes truth. Of course, darling, that is what you can see. That we wanna play down, smoke some giants and fuck some bitches. And if someone doesn't want that, they have to go over my dead body. Of course, darling, that is my ring, and so I'm gonna live. Of course, darling, that is what you can say. I want my peace, I want my truth. That is what you can say.